So two forces P and Q act on a particle. The force P has magnitude 7 Newton and acts due north. So if we consider north to be I, so this is acting due north, and this is a force of 7 Newton. So P equals to 7 Newton. Then acts due north. The resultant force of, and then Q acts on a particle. The force P has a magnitude vector and acts due north. The resultant of P and Q is a force of magnitude 10 Newton acting in the direction with a bearing of 120 degree. So that means if this is north, then if this is 90 degree, so there is a bearing of 120 degree, and that is the resultant force. So in this particular problem, they are giving us the resultant force, and they're saying that the magnitude of the resultant force is 10 Newton. So this is the resultant force, and they're asking for what is the other force that is acting. So if we draw parallel angles, what's gonna happen if we take this 7 Newton force over here, and if we lift it and put it over here, so then what happens is this. So this is P, so it is just put over here. Now we know this is the diagonal of the resultant force, because this is where the resultant force goes. So where can the force Q be? So we can just assume that the force Q is somewhere around here. We don't know in which direction force Q is going, but since this is P, the other one is going to be in that direction. So we just say this is the force Q. So, and we have this diagonal over here. So what we can do now is we can just take this, we can just assume that from a single point, so we have one force like this going towards north, and we don't know where the other force is going. Just assume it's going in this direction. Now the question is, the resultant force is going to be like this. So this time we know the force P, we know the resultant force, we just need to find the force Q. So let's do this. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take this and make this a parallel vector over here, so that we have a parallel vector Q over here. So this is Q, so that means this is P, so this is going to be Q, a parallel vector. So this is Q. Now what do we know? So one of the things that we know, if this is 120 degree, because it's a bearing of 120 degree, so this angle, since both of them are parallel, by supplementary angle, this is going to be 60 degree. So this is going to be 60 degrees. So if we redraw this triangle, it will look like this. So this is going to be the resultant. Then we have this force over here, and then we have another force over here. So this is the resultant. This is the result. It's this and it's this. Let me change the direction of the resultant. It's like this. It's head on. So this is P. This is let me just arrow P over here. And this force is Q, and this is the resultant force. So let me call this R. So here what we know is, we know this angle. This angle is 60 degree. And we know this force is 7 Newton. We don't know what this force is. This is unknown. But this time we know the resultant force is 10 Newton. So how to find this? So by simply doing the math, so by doing that, what we can do is, this particular force is unknown. So we can write Q is the force equals to 10 squared plus 7 squared, just regular arithmetic. 2 into 10 into 7, because they have the included angle, cos 60. So that means this is going to be 100 plus 49, 149, minus this is going to be 70. Cos 60 is going to be half. So this is going to be half. So that turns out to be 149 minus 35. So this is Q squared. Therefore Q is going to be square root of, so 149 minus 35, that is 114. So square root of 114 is 10.68. So 10.68 Newton is the resultant force. So that is the first one, question number A. Now in question number B, we have to find the direction that giving you an answer as a bearing. So direction of Q. So direction of Q to give answer as a bearing. So obviously it has to be an angle with P. So first of all, let's find this angle. Then we can figure out what the angle would be in bearing. So this angle, let me call this theta. So if we using the sine rule, so using the sine rule, so what we can see over here, so this is theta. So sine theta divided by opposite, which is 10 Newton, equals to sine 60 divided by opposite, which is the angle, which is the force that we just found, 10.68. So by simplifying, sine theta equals to 10 sine 60 divided by 10.68. So that means sine theta is equals to, so 10 into sine 60, so 0.811. So theta equals to sine inverse of 0.81089. Therefore, so 54.2 degree. Now we have to write this down as a bearing. So how can that be? So if this theta is 54.2, so if we extend this to north, as we know P is going towards north, so then the bearing would be starting from here, so 90 degree, 180 degree, all the way to this. That means in terms of bearing, we have to add 180 with it. So 180 plus 54.2, and that is going to be 234 degrees the bearing.